um, holy sapphire tree, which is the tree of life, which is your
Mm-hmm.
chakra system. All this is going to be told in the body language.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a subset of body language called facial expression, right? This is where you read the eyes of the person, the eyebrows. A lot of our grandmamas used to tell us we was lying to her, you got a lie written all over your face, right? Because she can see through your facial characteristics that what you're telling her is not matching what your face is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it becomes the Freudian slip, the accidental spurting of the truth in the middle of a lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, so like micro expressions, uh, like even like when say if you like your old lady or your old man, like you could tell when they ain't like feeling right or look funny, mad or something like that because you used to seeing they face a certain way, and then when it changed, they straight face and all this, the energy changed. So
Yeah.
do
So
emotions
a
have to do?
lot of us know our significant other because we learned it from our mother.
Hmm.
When your mama look across the room and you doing something you ain't got no business doing, that's almost bad as getting a whooping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when she give you a certain look, that means you getting a whooping. That make you feel even worse, right? She could give you a look to tell you these people is telling us some BS. Don't say nothing. Just
Yeah.
with a look,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
that is facial recognition. That's our how they learn to design artificial intelligence by examining the movement of the muscles in the face so that facial recognition can actually be a thing.
Hmm.
By studying how children read the faces of their mother throughout life, and eventually it translates to your spouse and your children. You can tell by the way your child moves in the house there's something wrong with them that you need to go deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody and did something to my baby.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are disconnected from your inner self because you focused on so hard on building a life that you put all your trust in the money and you disconnect your heart center, right? You won't recognize the trouble signs, and that's when your wife had to tell you, say something wrong with that baby. You need to go check it out
Yeah.
because that's your counterbalance, right? In those subtle energy shifts, you learning how to manage your household. You using that energy to tell you this is what I need to teach my son or daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all coming from us growing up as children, reading our mother. And sometimes my father is normally his voice. What he say?
Yeah.
His utterance, the authority in his utterance is what gets the attention of the child.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So mama is teaching you visible facial recognition, and pops is teaching you to listen for the fluctuations in the voice tone.
Mm-hmm.
We better take that bass out your voice when you talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I'll show you what a man to do. And the pop's gonna tell you, oh, you think you a man? 12, 13 years old, you think you a man now? I'll show you what a man do.
Yeah.
He wants you to challenge him back, but he know that sometime when you challenge him back, he gonna have to hurt you.
Yeah.
But he wants you to challenge him back to let him know that he's not raising anything less than a man.
Yeah.
He tell you stuff in passing, and you supposed to be learning enough from mama to catch what Papa say.
Mm.
Papa say a man moves straight. He ain't wishy washy. His yes mean yes, his no mean no. He stand on what he say. That's what Pops tell you. Mama
Yeah.
tell you observe your surroundings, make sure you see everything, and don't let nobody know you saw anything.
Yeah.
Right? So now you put them together and you translating the crowd because you learn first the one individual, then you got siblings, so you learning 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 individuals, right? The harmony that's under the control of mom and pops and the bond that they tell the siblings determine how well you will develop in learning how to deal with other people, because all siblings don't get along, contrary to popular opinion.
Right.
But even if they don't get along, touch one of them and they will click up and beat you down. And then they'll go back to fighting each other. We understand that. Because everybody not always supposed to get along. Everybody not always supposed to agree with everything somebody else say.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is the principles that you're standing on as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, so since you're standing on principles, right, it make your counterpart know that she got a firm shoulder to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of holding on to your shoulder, she wrap her arm around your waist while she switch. Because she don't want to burden you. She want to prop you up. Right? Let's get it. We talking about we got to either build an empire together or we got to tear the empire down. I don't care which one of it is, ride or MF and die. Till the wheels roll off. Go through all schools of thought until you get the truth out of all of them and tell us what it means.
Right.
Judge none, because you're going to be judged by the most. Right. They're going to look for every reason to say that you didn't do the work you did in studying mama and papa to become the person you are to teach the nation.
Right.
All the nations. Remember who you are. This is why we here. First blood of the birthright is the first right to the earth right, which is the mitochondrial right of the women to inherit the earth. The philosophical principle applied to masculinity is man is supposed to subdue the earth for the women to be able to make earth become heaven. To change the frequency is to give them the required information they need to change the paradigm of thought from slaves, reparations, and poverty, right? To deify entities walking in the flesh with magical properties and mystical abilities that science is studying, trying to explain how we can do what we do. Shout out Black Girl Magic. I put that stuff on everything I do. Right? Naya the Fire came to burn this chick down about her daddy stuff. Back to the beginning is the same way we come out the end. You just see it upside down and backwards. And this is how you flip the last to be first over the last that was first. You have to change the paradigm by steering them clear of that BS lie. Where the slave ships. Right. You got 10,000-year-old ships under the sea that you treasure diving from, and they fully intact in the ocean with their wealth on them, but there ain't no slave ships. Where the slave ships? Hear that noise. Yeah. We know who we are now. As my man say, we know the truth now. Facts. So we telling it in clear and concise principles as possible that takes us back to all of the stuff that our elders told us that wasn't in the books. The oral tradition. We still pass the message down because it comes out in the swag, in the lingo, in the fad dances, what area or is hot right now, telling you where the chief at as he move across the land. Right? He don't have to be one chief. It could be many chiefs, but the one that take the lead is where the energy moves to. So we watch the movement of the frequency across the land in temperature, precipitation, wind speed, and ground effect. Ground effect means if a tornado come and level the city, it's telling us something. What did they name the tornado? Why did they give it a name? Yeah. Right? All of them don't got names. So they named one for a reason. The reason why is because it's an ancestral spirit associated with the tornado or hurricane that they name it. Remember, when a tropical storm is weak, it has a male name. But when it comes to full rage hurricane, they always change it to a female name.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because the power of the earth is in the hearts of the women.
Mm-hmm.
The secret to the liberation of the planet is to restore the women back to their divine feminine energy and to enforce it by protecting the children with the women while we protect the women. Circles within circles. The concentric circles is the pattern of the earth tribes.
Right.
The regimented squared off seats is the regimented military districts. Right? A military district is controlled under postal zone, where they set their post up. Watch the movement of the energy, and you'll know which chief is responsible to take action about a certain part of the work. You just might not personally know the individual, but you know the energy is there because you watching the flow of the energy across the land. Right? It's just like when you go outside, you hear the birds chirping, the wind blowing, and ruffling leaves of different types of plant. All that sound is messages.
Mm-hmm.
Because all sound have a musical note sequence. And if you can record the sound, you can interpret the musical notes.
Mm-hmm.
The interpretation of the musical notes matches you up with lines of frequency. Right? Depending on the note. Once you get the frequency, you can translate the frequency into a feeling. Once you get the feeling can then translate to the subconscious mind the meaning in the feeling that you just got from the sound. Right? And all that go back to mama teaching, reading her face, daddy's voice, and hearing the sound, the right sound, the A tone, because we at one.
Right. I got another question for you, Rod, and it's tying into that. Hey, shout out Dr. Paul for the super chat, man. Dr. Paul's in the building, y'all. Rod, so we going to the next. This is I got some good questions, man. The next question I got for you ties into you was kind of going into it a little bit right then about the love language, because like in some of my past relationships, they always say, "Oh yeah, you ain't understand my love language. That's why we didn't line up or this and it," right? So I didn't even know what the hell it was. I didn't even know what love language was. I just,
So
go ahead.
Let me explain love language.
Okay, all right.
You have things in your life that you love. Like some people think they foodies. They love language is food, and you can tell what they telling you by the food that they offering you. And the taste of the food is supposed to be translated into the best, closest example of the emotion that they can express.
Yeah.
Right? Music as a love language, express it in the words that you can't formulate. The songwriter has the poetic ability to formulate your words and translate it onto music in order for you to get the feeling from the music. And the more you love music, the more you can read music. You don't need to know the notes if you understand the feeling. And this is why you work on emotional intelligence. Right? Now, another love language is gifting. Right? You know that you really into a chick when you ain't talked to her in 2-3 days and you just go on Amazon and buy her a book. Buy her that glass cup that she was talking about the last time you was over there and just have it shipped. You're a gifter. You give gifts. Gifts is your display of affection.
Yeah.
Right? Other people love language. They like to read poetry. Right? So they want you to go to the stand-up poetry reading, the open mic night and all that, because the poetry the way they feel about poetry is the bond they trying to build with you through listening to other poets go over their art.
Huh.
A love language, right? The antithesis to that is trauma bonding.
Uh-huh.
Okay, trauma bonding is the exact opposite of a love language. So we gonna stay on love language. I don't want to get crossed over. Trauma bonding take you down
I'm gonna
the
write that
whole
down.
other trauma bonding.
Yeah, just go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going on love language. I'm gonna write. We're gonna come back to that.
Okay, so when you have a emotional affection for something and you use that as a display of affection for the other person, right? That's a love language. That's how they telling you how they feel without using the vanity of words. Because a person can say out their mouth they love you right before they shoot you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right before they stab you in the back,
Yeah.
right
Man.
before they get an optional address and tell them we don't need the chairman no more
Yeah.
because you scared of his ability to galvanize the masses. So you take sides with the enemy, right?
Yeah.
Because the bond was based on a mutual trauma. When you hear people always complaining about how sick they is and it sound like Munchausen syndrome, and then they start having children, they tell you how sick their kids is, the kids be healthy as can be.
Yeah.
Munchausen by proxy, that's because they trying to create affection through sympathy of a trauma that they created in their head and made it manifest in their reality. And they want your sympathy. That's a way to drain you of your love frequency because in order to give them sympathy for low vibrational BS, you have to give them sympathy from your root chakra.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. You dropping some
But
stuff.
when you giving them your love language, you giving it to them from your heart chakra. And if they appreciate it, the gratitude widens the bandwidth. If they reciprocate it, it creates a cyclic energy. The cyclic energy in mutual gratitude again increases the already increased bandwidth, right? So if y'all showing this kind of energy exchange, you able to more easily connect with other people in harmonious fashion because wherever you go, that field that's generated from that genuine love connection and mutual gratitude and every other holy virtue you add to it serves as an amplifier, a music clarifier, and all of the other tools you need to get the best sound from your musical expression of your love language.
Hey, Rod. So now, cause I was on there, man. I'm gonna tell you, I was my love language is making sure you straight. Like if you got like
That's
whatever.
guardian. That's called being a guardian.
Yeah, whatever you do, if you do some shit, I got it for you. You drink wine, I got that. You whatever you like to eat, you all the bills paid, you straight. But
Yeah,
that ain't been working for me. That shit ain't
that's
been
the
working.
because when you that kind of provider, it gives you a frequency that makes you become over possessive, which makes it easier for people to step on your toes and set you off. But you don't always know where it's coming from. It's coming from the goodness of your heart feeling disrespected, which makes you lash out. Right? This part of us knowing ourselves, if you know how you are, then you know that I'm supposed to feel this way under these circumstances. Now you know it's in context. It's going back to emotional intelligence I spoke about earlier, right? Your emotional quotient, your EQ, is telling you how to process the emotion to determine the proper course of action. That's when you learn yourself enough to use your emotions as a navigation system. When you lose people in your life, you're supposed to feel some form of sorrow. But the sorrow or sadness that comes with that in the society like we live in, where they put a negative connotation to it, makes what they call a vexus grieving response.
Mm-hmm.
You over grieve,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody grieve different. So you can't tell a person how to shorten a grieving period because it's in their perception that their grieving period go through all of the stages of grief, right? And once they go through all of the stages of grief, then they can have the joyous memories of the person in their life that they lost, but they still keep the memory because the memory really keeps the person alive within you.
Hey, so right now, let's get into this trauma bonding because that's what I went through. That's what the person I was with last. They said, "Oh, we got together because we were trauma bonding," and I'm trying to feel like I don't feel like that. I feel like I like you. You it's like maybe I picked it for the wrong things, but you know what I mean. Like they said, like the trauma bonding thing is like both of you to hurt, say y'all get together to make based off of that. So like
Okay.
what is it? What is
I'm going to show you some examples. It's different examples of how people trauma bond, right? Some people trauma bond based off a tragedy that happened in their life as a child that they haven't been able to rationalize in their mind why that tragedy took place in their life. So this become what you call an anchored trauma. It's an original first trauma. Now, there's going to be a series of fertilizer traumas throughout their life that's going to steer exactly how they perceive the world around them. Right? And once they perceive it a certain way, the trauma bond come in when you can see it from their perspective. They become emotionally attached to you because in their mind, you understand me. Right? So now they go every time they feel like they disconnecting, they either mimic the original trauma or one of the offshoot traumas in order to activate your sympathy to bring you back into the bond under the pretenses of soothing the pain of the trauma. Now,
you can write a book.
Another form of trauma bonding is domestic violence. Domestic violence is severe trauma bonding. You taught to us through denying the men the discipline, the external discipline of the father, to allow him to keep his emotions in check, right? And because most of the trauma bonding, he beat her down or she beat him down because it worked both ways. Because some of these dudes get whipped by their women, and after the fight, they gonna make passionate love. It's called breakup to makeup.
I've seen that.
The worse the breakup part is, the better the makeup part is. This is trauma bonding through sexual means.
That's crazy. That's
and many people perceive the after effect of the makeup sex with the sensation that they've been told is love in their romantic novel stories, in their romantic movies, in their romantic fairy tales, right? It's the after effect of the traumatic bond. What you think Romeo and Juliet was about?
Yeah,
Two forbidden people who ain't supposed to be together bond on the just to be rebellious to their families in an arranged situation. They both was espoused to somebody else, but they wanted to defy the family edicts on both sides. Right? So they tell it to us as this massive love story, the greatest love story ever told, and all that. But they really subtly sliding the trauma bond aspect of them having to fight their families. That's the trauma. To be together, that's the bond. Right? So they both fighting their families to see each other. The trauma of fighting the family is making the bind tighter and tighter.
That was kind of my situation right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the repetition to break free of the trauma, the only thing you got to do is recognize that the trauma exists. You recognize it, you acknowledge it, and then you release it because you didn't cause the trauma. Somebody else gave you the trauma. If you caused the trauma, you forgive yourself for the trauma you caused and make a vow to yourself, not nobody else, that you will try not to inflict that trauma on anyone else. Right? But don't take other people's attempts to trauma bind with you as your rejection of that, as if you did something wrong. You ain't supposed to let nobody trauma bind with you if you self-aware. You genuine love connections, you have genuine loyalty, you have genuine affection, right? And all of this is before there's any other links like sexual or anything like that. The genuine connection first is established by two people just being a genuine self, right? And by you being your authentic self, it makes people gravitate toward authenticity. It's like moths to a flame. They don't have to agree with you if they feel the authenticity. They still gonna come see, well, what else is he being authentic about? Even though that sounds like some total quackery to me.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. So we want to get away from the trauma bind by acknowledging your trauma. And if somebody inflicted the trauma on you, you release it back to the universe. I don't want that. You got a right not to accept the status of victim in a universe where you're supposed to be deified. You don't have to be nobody victim. It's not in your book of life. It's not in my book. It ain't in nobody's book of life that's walking around on 2 feet, call themselves a sentient human, that they are required to be somebody else's victim. But your ignorance can drive you in somebody's lane and get you ran over.
That's right.
Right? Your disrespect will put you in somebody's crosshairs and get you cut down. Right? Your lack of self-control will make somebody put pinstripes across your windpipe, DMX.
Yeah.
Right? So the better you have self-control and the more you focus on your agenda, you don't got time to worry about what nobody else doing. Everybody starts stop what they doing to watch what you doing because you blowing past the world. You become a meteorite in life.
That brings me to the next question, and it ties into because all this time I got a lot of good questions. Now, that what you just said remind me of a scene with Malcolm X, and you said he self-control. Now, in that scene, you're gonna remember the scene. He walked in. Remember, he walked into the bar, and the guy was taunting him, bullying him, right? And he kept on bullying. Malcolm X let him say all that, but then when he said somebody's mama, see now. When he said somebody's mama see now you know where you can talk about me now. You can talk me down, talk about me like a dog. But when you say something about my mama, now that go back a long way because the mama thing set a lot of people off. Like you say something about people go to joking and then you say something about somebody's mama, that's a prelude to let me sock you. Mama said knock you out. So could you go in on a little bit of that?
Mama's boys.
Yeah.
They're mama's boys and mama's girls. Mama's baby, papa's baby. You say what you want about pops, I might laugh it off, but you say the wrong thing about mama, I might check your chin.
Tell you.
Right? It's the energy exchange. We protective of our mothers. If she was a loving mother and a caring mother, like mine was, we protective of our mother. Right? And she got to always counsel us. This is the meaning of becoming a Mason.
Okay, that's right.
The mama is molding the son to be the proper man that any woman he have got a winner. They think masonry is about compasses and squares. Those are metaphors. You know, the square is the four corner shuffle. That's the motherland. right? The circle is the two volcanoes,
That's right.
right? That's how your fatherland operate. So the compass and the square is the mother and the father working together to mold the son into becoming something greater than he would be had he followed the edicts of the local society.
Go ahead.
The society at large can't teach you what you learn through your family lineage is about character. Your parents gonna be your first role models until they tell you to believe in something called a superhero. Well, before superheroes, we had the Lord, we had the Orisha, we had the Neteru, right? We had the great Thunderbirds
Uh-huh.
before superheroes. Batman came from Mesoamerica, southern Mexico,
Yeah.
right? He was Chief Kozo. But we don't know that the modern comic strip writers hired on staff at a major comic distribution company is being taught Sumerian stories, Egyptian stories, Native American stories in order to fashion
That's
all
right.
of the characters in the comics
That's right.
around the ancestors of the people they making fun of by making caricatures of the real people on the screen to make money off of it because like a magnet our genetic memory to who was at one time one of our leaders is
Hmm.
drawn back to him in the form of a animated figure. He ain't real. So now they done undermined your connection to your family tree,
That's right,
right?
bro.
So now you can't extract the energy of a Sun Wukong from Asia, a Hanuman from India, right? A Tahuti from Egypt. You can't channel that energy because they hijacked your family tree's connection to these ancient ancestors of yours that built the civilizations of the world for trillions of years in cycles within cycles, yugas within yugas, ages within ages, in a downward spiral. Unless you're on the other side of the universe, it's an upward spiral, right? But if you're between the two, you at the middle, the funnel comes to an end on you, accessing both sides of the spin, motherland, fatherland, activates the macabre body. The labor intensive requirements of that, man would put himself in the grave before he ever used that level of self discipline to become what he's supposed to evolve into. So you have to upgrade the genetics of the children coming in. So the sages whisper in the ears of Mother Earth and tell her what the problem is. And the mother's lament and her tears during her pregnancy forms the remedy to the problem that she's crying about during the pregnancy. That's why Elijah say the prayers of the woman is answered through the womb. Okay, now once these things take place, they go into something called the field. The field is how you program the DNA. In the South, they say, you mark that baby. Look, he got your birthmark. You mark that child, right? Or he got his granddad. He look just like his granddad. That's that granddad come back. They know because the field opens up the connection to the family land. Though you can only come back to the one you love the most, right? If you the one you love the most is gonna carry the strongest pull on the heartstring, which is the sympathetic link to the ancestral line that causes the manifestation of the affection in the womb of the one you love the most. Or if it's coming from father's side, the son you love the most, it's still got to go through his chromosomes by permission of his mitochondria in unison with the woman he connect with. And the men who can get the male child is the blessed ones. Because it's so difficult to even produce a male child. If people knew how difficult, if the men knew how difficult it was to produce for a woman to have a male child, he would honor his position as a man with a whole lot more reverence of the self. You don't know what you had to go through to get here. 777 billion sperm cells, and you made it to the egg. The character persona that became you. But not only that, in the vagina of the woman, there's a natural spermicide that kills Y chromosome semen, sperm, spermatozoa, the ones that's the strongest with the Y. Because some sperms got 2 X's. That's how you end up making a girl. But not only that, in the first trimester, something like in the neighborhood of 60+% of spontaneous abortions is the male child. Right? When you get into the second trimester, it's still a high 50% of male child spontaneous abortions or miscarriages. And in the final trimester, right, a sizable portion, now it's only about 25% of the male child that started out during the same 9-month gestation that's present. But it's going to be an alarmingly high level of stillbirths in the male children still. Right? So every man is a remarkable addition to the human race because we go through so much to get here. But if we don't know our role, we can go through so much to get put out of here. Right? And that's how a lot of us causes our own suffering. Misusing our masculine self to abuse those weaker than us. Bullying. I'm a bully beater. You on mute, Al. You on mute, Al. You on mute. You talking up storm, but you on mute.
Yeah, okay, dang. Okay, my bad. Okay, so you speak about the bully thing, and it's this guy that was a major YouTube guy, a host on Jumpman from the 40 Crips, named 4 Extra, who he popped the fireworks, the 480 explosive fireworks, and blew his whole arm off, blew his hand off. But before he blew his hand off, he was a guy that went around, you know what I'm saying? To me, he was a bully. To me, he was a bully. And the last guy, I think,
in LA culture, he not a bully, and I'm explaining to you why.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that too. But like from some perspectives, he'll be a bully. But I'm gonna tell you why I feel like he was a bully in some senses. Even after the guy said, "Hey man, you know, I didn't know no better. I'm cool, man. I'm sorry." You still press him. In LA, we used to like, if he don't want no static, cause he don't want none, let him make it. Let him, stall him. Cause that's what we say, stall him, right? So he wasn't stalling nobody, right? And then, like right before he got his hand blew off, he went after 607 pretty hard. I watched the video. Boom, then he get his hand blew off. So do you speaking things out? Because we're still talking about linguistics. Because Tupac. We know Tupac might not be there. We can get into all that, but speaking things into existence, saying, because he said that I'm gonna go right before he blew himself up, arm blew off. He said, I'm gonna go blow somebody up. I'm gonna go throw this in somebody's house. I'm gonna go blow somebody. I'm gonna blow somebody up right now. Right, and then 2 hours later, he ended up being the one he blew up. So, could you go in on? Is there some reality by speaking things or saying things? Because I didn't experience saying I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna go smoke this guy because it was a guy that killed my cousin, and the police didn't do nothing to him, right? Because they had set my cousin up to make it like he had robbed him, right? So I was like, man, I'm gonna smoke that fool when I ever catch him, right? And I never could find them fools, And then that dude moved downstairs from me, right downstairs from me, bro. Right? So it's like I spoke him up. Like, I'm gonna smoke that food when I see him. They brought that food right downstairs from me. So it's like when you think 4 extra by him study saying I'm gonna blow somebody up, I'm gonna, you know, being in that type of energy that he brought the blowing up of himself to his own demise.
I think he was carrying with him something called careless energy, right? Careless and reckless energy is twins. Um, 607 got, I don't know, y'all can't see spiritual stuff, but
Right. Go ahead.
if you ask a seer to look at him, he got protection with him, spiritual protection.
I told my old lady.
Personally, I never talked to him, right? But if you really listen to what he be saying, he be accurate with the information. He using the ODB Chief Crazy Horse energy
Yeah.
in order to tell the truth without the system collapsing on them.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who understand the culture best will know what 607 Unc is doing, and then they'll be like, oh, let me get the jewels out of this because he finna be dropping some jewels on the low, but he putting this image up, this energy out there. He's channeling the same energy ODB did, Chief Crazy Horse. The Crazy Horse energy is not just a person in the history books. To the tribes, it is a living frequency that we can use to conceal ourselves, being out in the open and make the establishment not crash on us. Geronimo is the energy of a military commander. So if you see Geronimo in the history books and you parallel him with Geronimo Pratt, you will realize that GINDJAB was the real deal. That's why they sent him from Mississippi to Oakland and to aid in the organization of the military strategy of the Panthers. But when he got out there, they knew why he was coming, so they framed him for a homicide that the police did.
Yep.
Right? His crime scene is almost identical to Big Tookie's. When you look at the crime scene, if you could do a comparative analysis, it reads similar MO, right? They said that Tookie was with one of the Crip brothers smoking Sherm, and he passed out. And they said that in his unconscious state, he grabbed a couple of Crips, went and robbed the store and murdered somebody while he was unconscious. You got to remember that part of the story, right? So we channel the energy of ancestors, and it's almost like being possessed by the ancestor. And all of the ancestors come with spiritual protection. When you channel their energy, you also inherit, because you got to have a certain frequency to even assimilate the energy. So you inherit all of the spiritual protection that comes with channeling that ancestor. Not saying that that energy is the cause of the dude losing his hand, but I wanted to put that out there about 607 because I see clearly what he's doing. So a lot of people can be offended at his structure of delivery, right, and his appearance. That's his protection. And with that appearance, it comes what they call ghouls, which is similarly dressed disincarnate entities from his family line that's dressed similarly to him. And they don't play about it. That being said, the brother who lost his hand, that's a tragedy.
And he that same hand, he was up in there, you know, at 607 on.
Yeah, let me cook.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now I say this is why I say he wasn't a bully. He was like Candyman. If his set or his name don't get put in it, you won't see him. Right? But when you start speaking on him, he gonna make you answer for it one way or the other. If you man enough to call him out, you're supposed to be man enough to run the fade, right? That's not what Crazy Horse Energy do. Though Crazy Horse Energy will run that fade and they will put one in you.
Yeah.
Right? But Crazy Horse Energy understand the power of us as a collective unit and don't want to go to war with the soldiers from the bloodlines.
That's what he was trying
So
to do.
it'll find a way out of that conflict. Right? So I don't think he was necessarily a bully. He just didn't back down. Right? He didn't say he want a problem, but when you say you want a problem, he like 50 Cent. He say, no problem. Right? In California culture, if you speak on somebody's business, you got to be ready to stand on it as the truth or admit that it's the lie.
That's cold.
If you can't stand on what you blow out your head, they gonna box your face. Ain't no backing down once you said the wrong thing to the one that they sent to correct you. You shouldn't have put my name in my business out in the street. That's Cali culture.
Yeah, that's right, Rod. You right.
Right. So when you understand I don't even live in California, but I got relatives out there, and I know people who were born and raised there that end up moving this way and discuss the culture. I'm able to understand the mechanics of their culture. So that when I do decide that I want to go to LA or I want to go to the Bay, or if I want to go to the Valley, I'm welcome because they know I'm not going to disrespect the tribal culture that's natural to the land. Right. Now, I might disrespect their police and their governor because they don't belong here.
Right.
But they going to be cheering me on if I do because they know they don't belong here. Right? They just don't know what we were supposed to be doing at the OG level of making the alliances and informing the youth so as they don't keep making the same repeated mistakes of taking their allies off the battlefield in friendly fire.
Right.
So our natural culture made us, the ones who didn't go to the military, learn military strategy, fighting streets and war in the streets.
Yeah.
We still got to learn how to defend the land. What if they dismantle the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines right now? Whose responsibility is going to be to secure the land? Right. The tribes. Don't nobody else got that responsibility. Anybody else that's securing and protecting the land right now, thank you. But that ain't their job. That's the tribe's job. We are the ones with territorial jurisdiction to govern over the land. Right? We the ones that's supposed to have the final say in what form of government is ran across the land.